Good evening, glad that you are watching the county's television. On the news tonight, President Kenyatta yet again defends handshake with ODM leader Raila Odinga.
Wewe utakimbia hapa, by the time umefika pale pumzi imeisha. Lakini mzee amekanyanga polepole akuja kupitia ukiwa bado kwa barabara.
This as Ruto tells Machakos voters not to vote Raila or Kalonzo in next year's polls.
That is the flag of the city.
Nakuru now becomes the fourth city in the country after Nairobi, Mombasa and Kisumu. IEBC insists the commission will not participate in the election preparedness committee.
As a commission, we then, by reporting to another agency, we have to compromise the independence of the commission.
The commission says the decision to award Inform Lycos tender to print ballot papers was informed by the firm's competitive prices. HIV prevalence rate drops to 4% from 6% as President Kenyatta calls for firm action against those impregnating teenage girls. And Wairimu is our sign language interpreter. Good evening, I'm Abubakar Abdullahi. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has poked holes at his deputy William Ruto's presidential bid as the 2022 race for State House heats up. Speaking in Nakuru on Wednesday, the head of state, on the other hand, seemed to back ODM leader Raila Odinga's yet-to-be-announced candidature. This being the very first time President Uhuru Kenyatta has come out to openly pick a side ahead of the 2022 elections. So is Odinga Uhuru's preferred successor? David Mudhoka examines that tonight.
The President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto bromance seems to have now taken a turn for the worst after President Kenyatta on Wednesday poured cold water on DP Ruto's bid to succeed him. Kenyatta, who however did not directly mention his number 2, but instead opting to use terms such as mzee to mean old man and kijana to mean a young man, perhaps in reference to ODM boss Raila Odinga and Ruto respectively, went on to cast aspersions at the DP's presidential campaign as the race for State House heats up.
Uongozi sio mpira ya kuchezwa kwa kiwanja. Uongozi sio sprint, ni marathon. Wewe utakimbia hapa, by the time umefika pale pumzi imeisha. Lakini mzee amekanyanga polepole akuja kupitia ukiwa bado kwa barabara.
President Kenyatta's remarks coming in Nakuru where a month like this 8 years ago, the once dynamic duo of Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto jointly and publicly announced their desire to run for State House.
Vijana, kwa heshima, fikirieni na musikimbie. Musikuje na speed. Speed inaangusha jameni. Afadhali pole pole na ufike pahali ambapo ulikuwa unaenda.
On the other hand, the head of state hinting to Kenyans who is better suited to succeed him after his retirement next year.
Ukikuja waambie huyu ni mzee hafai, tunataka kijana, sijui huyu ni ako namna hii, huyu ako namna hii, huyu ako namna ile. Mtu anachagua na bongo bana, mtu achagui na
It being the first time President Uhuru Kenyatta has come out to endorse Odinga, albeit indirectly, it appears to be a matter of when, not if, the head of state will announce his preferred successor. David Mudhoka, TV47.
Elsewhere, Deputy President William Ruto has accused ODM leader Raila Odinga for what he termed as delivering fake promises to Kambani people. Speaking during his tour of Machakos County, Ruto promised to ensure every Kenyan has access to better healthcare services by ensuring the National Health Insurance Fund cover caters for the vulnerable in the society. Paul Kirobi has the details.
Deputy President William Ruto took his charm offensive to Ukambani region, Machakos County. Ruto accusing the ODM boss Raila Odinga for taking the Ukambani leaders for a ride while under the umbrella of NASA coalition.
Hii mtu ya kitendawili amesumbua nyinyi miaka nyingi. Mimi ndio dawa yake. Mimi ndio najua vile ya kufanya na yeye. Nyinyi mnanisikia? Nyinyi mnanielewa? Hiyo mambo yake ya sijui kitendawili, ria, TV, nini hii. Hapana. Hakuna hiyo story, sasa tumemaliza.
Ndio nawaelezea tusiingie tu kwa mtaro. Tutengeneze serikali ambayo haina mpango yetu. Sasa mko na maswali ambayo mnaweza niuliza. Mtaniuliza mulipita Ikalahasa ukiwa na deputy president. Ukatuambia tutatengenezewa barabara. Hiyo maswali mimi niko ready kuulizwa. Lakini hiyo maswali hamwezi kuniuliza kama mtaniwekea mtu ya kitendawili.
Kama candidate wenu ni Raila, nyinyi mtaenda mfuate Raila peke yenu. Sisi Wakamba tutafuata William Samoei Ruto.
Addressing residents of Machakos town, the second in command promised to deliver better healthcare services by ensuring that all Kenyans access better healthcare services.
Public health insurance scheme that will make it possible for every Kenyan to pay their hospital bills, and we will remove the curse of poverty on Kenyans that is visited upon them by matters to do with medical bills.
Ruto promised to deliver on all Jubilee projects that have stalled if elected president next year.
Kenya tumeamua. Wachako si mumeamua? Mumeamua kweli? Ama mko tayari kupangwa? Mmejipanga? Mmejipanga? Tumetumwa hapa kuja kuona kama tumeamua.
The deputy president was accompanied by MPs Vincent Musyoka of Mwala, Victor Munyaka of Machakos Town, Nimrod Mbai of Kitui East, and former Machakos Senator Johnston Muthama. Paul Kirobi, TV47.
Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has conferred city status on Nakuru County, making it Kenya's fourth city after Nairobi, Mombasa and Kisumu. The award of the city charter to Nakuru at an event attended by several national and local leaders followed a legislative process as outlined in the Urban Areas and Cities Act of 2011. And as Chichi Josephine now reports from Nakuru, the president challenged Nakuru residents to take advantage of the opportunities that will be brought by the new status to improve their well-being.
Nakuru officially joins Mombasa, Kisumu and the country's capital Nairobi in the city status.
Today tuko hapa, hatuko town ya Nakuru tena, tuko kwa city ya Nakuru. Na hiyo ni kumaanisha ya kwamba Nakuru sasa imefuata Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu kuwa city ya 4 katika taifa letu la Kenya.
During the awarding of the charter to the municipality, President Uhuru Kenyatta lauded Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui for his unending efforts in developing the new city. President Kenyatta says infrastructure and more job opportunities should be prioritized as the city comes with its own responsibility.
City inahakikisha ya kwamba biashara, it becomes attractive to do business. Na watu wanakuja, wanapanga factory zao na mambo mengine mengi. Si kazi inatokana na hiyo mafactory jameni.
Mimi najua Wanakuru wamesubiri kwa muda mrefu sana. Vile Waswahili husema ati subira huvuta. Leo baraka imefika Nakuru.
Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui, terming the move as historic for the people of Nakuru, said his government remains committed to plans of constructing a 4-kilometer highway along Mau Summit, tarmacking of street roads within the CBD, as well as upgrading Afraha Stadium to international standards. President Kenyatta says his government will work together with the county government of Nakuru to ensure youth agendas are incorporated in the plans of Nakuru City development.
We are upgrading Afraha Stadium to international standards, and I'm happy to note that through the Kenya Urban Support Program funded by the World Bank, we have committed a total of 650 million shillings, and the commencement of that project started about 5 months ago.
Vijana wetu kazi wako naye kwa sababu ya ile maendeleo ambayo inafuata city zetu tukizijenga.
The move comes after senators by a majority vote supported a report by the House Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations that recommended the Nakuru municipality be conferred with a city status.
Ninafuraha kutangaza kwamba zile counties ambazo zilipigia Nakuru kuwa city zilikuwa counties 27 beyond the threshold ile ambayo tulikuwa tunataka. Kwa hivyo huu ni mfano mwema na pia ni legacy ya Mheshimiwa Rais, na sisi pia tukiwa Senate, hii ndio city yetu ya kwanza sisi kuweza kupitisha.
Nakuru has finally become a city and is finally in the list of cities in Kenya. Of that, residents say that with the achievement they expect a great growth in the business. Reporting for TV47, my name is Chichi Josephine.
Moving on, Paul Njuki, a suspect in the murder of 5 of his family members in Gotv village, Kirinyaga County, has been remanded at Kirinyaga Police Station for 14 days to pave way for investigations. Njuki surrendered himself to the police and confessed to killing his wife and 4 of their children on Sunday night. Police officers requested Gishugu Law Courts for more time to conduct their investigations. Well, from Kirinyaga County, you are watching the county's television, TV47 News Tonight. Time for us to take a short break. Stay with us.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories. Entrepreneurs around the country are creatively grinding.
I started with a borrowed phone.
A borrowed phone?
Yeah, that could last 2 hours with charge.
We just have to do quality work for them.
To make their mark in an unpredictable market.
It was now going on a sales venture, looking for stockists door to door.
On the grind, we bring you their stories so you can tell yours. Every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Men are known to be the pillars.
We're rising up together.
Say your point.
You need an alpha male now to come and help you and your girl.
Ameongea zero.
And women, they are the cornerstone that hold the pillars.
Don't be entitled. A man is peaceful, a man knows how to talk to a lady.
This November, the Men's Conference brings a cocktail of diverse ladies to weigh in on various matters.
Something I'd love more to see is men being able to exist as themselves.
Tune in every Wednesday at 10 p.m.
Hello guys, and welcome to Night In with Joy Irungu.
Heartbreak, pain,
and tears have been a major part of Night In Season 1. We thank you for being with us on this journey, and for this upcoming season, we will bring you more empowering stories that not everyone is talking about.
This is the only show where we keep it authentic. We share our lifetime experiences, and you know what? Tell every person that you can turn your pain into power.
Join Joy Irongo on Night In as we take the brave step of sharing.
The road to 2022 is becoming tougher.
Nyuma ya wheelbarrow kuna economic model.
And trickier with each passing day.
Niliwaambia washushe chini bei ya mafuta.
Political aspirants in a dilemma whether to change allegiance or not.
How has Raila and the handshake made Jubilee lose focus?
You've seen Raila Odinga flying military choppers.
Our people have never been called to Uhuru Park to be.
Welcome back to TV47 News Tonight. Thank you for staying with us. Let's get to more news. And the teenage and adolescent pregnancies are among challenges frustrating efforts by the government to reduce new HIV infections by 75%, according to National Council of Population and Development. Nairobi County tops the list of teen and adolescent pregnancies. Our reporter Andrin Kilemi delves into the cause of teenage pregnancies among children aged between 10 and 19, as well as possible solutions to the menace.
1 in every 8 teenage girls in Kenya are either pregnant or have already given birth. This is according to a report released by the National Council for Population and Development, NCPD, between the months of January and October this year.
Among the old and married sexually active adolescents, we are saying 59.3 are not using any method of contraception.
This is evident at Maria's home, not her real name, a mother of a 16-year-old girl who is now 7 months pregnant.
Wakati alikuja akatulia ni wakati alijua ako mjamzito na mimi bado sikuwa najua. Ndio nikamuongelesha ile harakati ya kuingia kwa bagi yake. Nikapata kit hiyo ya kupima ujauzito. So wakati nilipata hiyo kit nilimuuliza hii ni ya nani? Hapo ndiye alilia akaniambia mama ni yangu. Sikuchukua hatua yote kumpiga. Kile nilifanya ni kukaa chini. Nikajilaumu sana. Juu niliona ni kama sometimes sina time yake kulingana na kazi.
Maria has attributed the COVID-19 pandemic and the indefinite closure of schools for her daughter's unruly behavior.
So wakati corona iliingia, alikuja akachange. Akakuwa anaweza toka asubuhi, anarudi usiku, ukimuuliza kujibu. So hiyo time pia nilikuwa busy. Juu nilikuwa na kazi kando na nyumba, nilikuwa nimefungua biashara. Wakati ilizidi mimi niliona ni kama akona kichwa ngumu. But alichange ile ya kunishangaza siku expect.
Zawadi, Maria's firstborn daughter, also not her real name, was lured to join a group of teenagers by the name Gaza, with whom they engaged in unruly behaviors.
Wakati nilifuatilia nikapata ameungana na vijana wengine. Wanajiita kitu kama Gaza. Wakati nilianza kumuongelesha akakuwa sasa ako hae, anavuta bangi. Hakuna kitu yenye anaweza muongelesha afanye. Ukimwacha hata aoshe vyombo, kichwa ikigonga tu hivyo, utapata hayuko kwa nyumba. Then anamaliza 2 to 3 days, tena anakuja ama 1 week. Anarudishwa na mama yangu. So nilizidi kumuelezea aende shule, kafika mahali atupatani mimi naye. Wakati mmoja alikuja akapotea, kaambia marafiki zake wasieleze mahali niko.
It is through the frequent engagements with her friends that Zawadi began using drugs. She recounts how she fell pregnant on the day she had gone out on a drinking spree with her friends at a party.
So kenyilape nilikuwa kwa hiyo day nilikunywa pombe. Sasa kunywa pombe nikaanza kuintroduce sasa kwa drugs, but bangi sikuwahi kutumia vile. Pombe ndio nilikuwa nakunywa sana. Nikarudi kuanza kulala nje. Bado sijui bado niko na mimba bado. Nikalala nje. Sasa siku moja nimekaa nikasema period zangu zimemiss. Sasa niende nijipime juu sijui imemiss na wiki moja. Sasa nimeenda kupima nikaona ya kwanza nikapata niko na mimba. Nikasema acha nyingine nikaenda check nichukue nyingine nijaribu. Ya pili nikapata. Sasa kwanza vile nilipima nikapata nikanyamazia. Moja nilitupa kwa choo. Hiyo ingine nikasahau nikeka kwa bagi yangu.
A report released on the 8th of November this year indicates that sexual violence, forced marriages, poverty, inadequate reproductive health information, and lack of parental guidance are among the major drivers of increased teenage and adolescent pregnancies in the country.
Nikiongea upande wangu kile kimechangia kukua busy tena sana, kukosa kuelewa mtoto. Kila wakati uko busy na kukosa kuweka mtoto chini kuongea naye. Ndio unaweza ongea naye mara moja, but ningekuwa naongea naye continuous haingefanyika.
That time ilikuwa mom alikuwa busy sana, dad pia alikuwa busy, so na mimi ndo msichana pekee yetu kwetu. So hakuna mtu mwingine anaweza kaenda kuongelesha. Aunties zangu wako mbali tena, siwezi kachoma fare niende muongeleshe huko.
In just 1 year, approximately 3,531 cases of teenage pregnancies of girls aged between 10 to 19 years were reported. Statistics indicating that the number is of teenage girls who had reported to various health facilities seeking help, raising questions of how many more teenage girls are pregnant but choose to remain silent.
We are facing, or we are having what we call now a demographic dividend period, where we are having youth bulge. And majority of these youth bulges are the girls that we have today. So if majority of them are getting pregnant, then we are losing high potential of our youth.
Although the government has put in place measures aimed at reducing HIV infections in the country, teenage and adolescent pregnancies have been termed as major challenges frustrating Kenya's effort to reduce new HIV infection rates by 75%.
Today we have the older generation of people living with HIV, our largest cohort, 55 years old and above. Now when we have put them on treatment, they are going on with their lives. What are we doing? We start every year having 6,000 new infections among children, and then we start having children also getting infected through sex. So it means as a country, the dream of ending AIDS in Kenya will never become a reality. The only way to become a reality if we have to end AIDS and HIV infections among young people and adolescents and children.
And as the world marks World AIDS Day, parents have been urged to have in-depth conversations with their children so as to ensure girls remain girls and not teenage mothers. Andrin Kilemi, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, Kenya today joined the world in marking the World AIDS Day. This year's theme being, quote, End Inequalities and AIDS. This as the country faces a shortage of essential commodities such as condoms and testing kits. Violet Auma now reports that new infections among young people are on the rise, similar to early pregnancies where an estimated 300,000 girls get pregnant every year in the country.
Lillian, whose real name we will not reveal, is among the 46,300 residents of Kakamega County who are living with HIV. This 22-year-old girl is a mother of one, a child she says she did not expect or plan for.
Around 7 men came into our house and walikuwa like wanataka something like pesa, but we were hatukuwa nayo. They raped me, 7 of them.
She later found out that she was infected with HIV virus after the rape.
Went for medication. They told me that there was no PrEP at that moment, so I didn't get help. Then after some time, I went for HIV testing, and that's how I reacted. I turned HIV positive.
She is among the young people in Kakamega County advocating for zero HIV infections.
At first, ilinisumbua because at school, everybody knew that I was raped, that my daughter, she turned out to be HIV negative. But all in all, I thank God for who I am today.
Manaharabu Aswanga is also living with the virus. However, her case is different. She was born with the disease.
We are walking there like they are pointing fingers. Hako ni kagonjwa. Kako karibu kukufa kama vile mama yake alikufa.
She says she was diagnosed with the HIV at the age of 14.
Kaka pale after kuongeleshwa kapimwa. 2 lines.
She says the stigma is still a monster among many people living with HIV.
After the breakup, si alikuwa anajua status yangu. Then hiyo wakati I was so down. I wanted to die, like akaitwa ile niko nalia, niko chini kabisa. You know, he came, alikuja na akasema, you want to die? Si ukufe. Because to me, you are already dead. You are HIV positive. Ulishakufa. Like unaitwa the walking dead.
It is alleged that drugs and social media has contributed significantly to the increase in the prevalence of the disease among the young people in the country. According to the coordinator of HIV, AIDS and STIs in Kakamega County, Dr. Mike Kisa, the county government has developed new strategies to control the situation.
Tuna jumuisha youth-friendly services katika huduma zote za afya. Kwa hivyo kile tunafanya kwa sana sasa ni kuwaelimisha wafanyakazi wa afya kuhusu youth-friendly service packages. Na kile nita encourage vijana wote ni kwamba katika hospitali zetu zote to realize pia tukiweka kona inakuja na stigma.
A total of 1.5 million Kenyans are living with HIV, while 1.2 million people are on antiretroviral drugs. This means that 5 out of 100 people in Kenya are living with HIV, while 4 out of 100 people in Kakamega County are living with the virus. According to the Ministry of Health, Kenya recorded 41,416 new infections last year, 14,410 of whom were young people aged between 15 and 24 years, which translates to 35% of the new infections.
Tusipowafundisha watoto kuhusu sexual health, tutakuwa tunajidanganya.
Lack of essential commodities such as condoms and testing equipments in the country have been witnessed in the recent past. Stakeholders say COVID-19 has impacted negatively to the supply and may lead to the spread of the virus.
Kuna condoms, maswala ya HIV saizi ni changamoto kubwa.
Davis Bulimo is an ambassador for people living with HIV in Kakamega County.
Hatuna condoms. Na kwa vijana hilo ndio jambo ambalo linalipatia wasiwasi kwa vijana wangu na watoto ambao wanazaliwa. Maana yake kama hakuna condoms unaweza pata kutakuwa na athari ya maambukizi ya virusi vya ukimwi sana. Na unapata pia hatuna zile vifaa za kupima watu. Zile test kits hazipo. Almost 1 year viral load results hazijakuwa zikifanyika.
Bulimo called on the government to invest in the fight against HIV and AIDS to achieve the 90-90-90 goals set by the UNAIDS, which targets 90% of the country's population to have been tested, 90% to access antiretroviral drugs, and 90% to suppress the level of the virus in the body.
Kwa serikali ilikuwa kama imewaachia fadhili. So pesa ambazo zinatengwa kwa wanaoishi na virusi vya ukimwi ni pesa kidogo sana.
In Kakamega County, a total of 46,300 people are living with HIV. 45,000 are taking antiretroviral drugs at 180 hospitals across the county. In addition, a total of 2,900 children under the age of 15 and 4,500 under the age of 19 are living with HIV in Kakamega County.
Lazima kukuwe na comprehensive sexual education in these schools. Kwa maana tunaangalia saa hii ni debut ya sex among school going kids ni imekuwa chini sana. Unapata msichana wa miaka 13 ako na mimba.
Dr. Ekisa says as a result of the county's effort, they have managed to cope and the county has seen a reduction of HIV epidemic prevalence from 4.5% 2 years ago to 3.7%. Despite the decline in the infection rates, Ekisa says there is need for everyone to be responsible and get tested without putting their loved ones at risk of contracting the disease.
Kwa wale ambao muda kwa muda unajipata kwa hali ya kufanya ngono, sex na mtu ambaye hujui hali yake ya HIV, ni muhimu tutumie condom.
He also noted that early pregnancies among young girls is a thorny issue in the fight against HIV, given that Kakamega is one of the counties reporting highest numbers of teenage pregnancies in the country.
Mimba moja kati ya 4 katika kaunti yetu ni kati ya wasichana wanaoenda shuleni. A quota 25%.
Dr. Ekisa says there is need for cooperation and collaboration between all stakeholders to address the issue.
Kama county bado tuko mbele kwa idadi za kina mama wanaofariki katika hali ya kupata mimba na kuzaa watoto. Hairuhusiki bado tukuwe na kama mama 50 wanafariki kwa mwaka kwa sababu ya hali ya kuzaa.
As young people living with HIV, Lilian and Mwanarabu had advice to the youths.
Si ati ni wewe peke yako, tuko wengi. Even me, I'm taking the drugs. Didn't see death sentence. Ni kitu unafaa tu ukubali.
If you are negative, please take care of yourself. Acha ibaki hiyo line moja. Because, with the one line hiyo negative, it can change to 2 lines. But once you test positive, 2 lines can never change to 1 line.
Violet Auma, TV47, Kakamega.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Nothing beats the freedom of overcoming the limitations of distance, time, and space. At Mount Kenya University, we offer internationally recognized education through the open, distance, and electronic learning, giving you the flexibility of studying from any part of the world and graduating on time. Simple? Great. Intake is in progress. Mount Kenya University, unlocking infinite possibilities.
At Trisent School of Medical Health Science and Technology, we offer highly competitive courses tailor-made to suit your needs. These include certificate and diploma in theatre technology, medical engineering, nutrition and dietetics, science lab, health records, environmental health science, counseling psychology, applied biology, social work and community development information and communication technology, computer engineering, information systems, among others. January 2022 intake is ongoing. Register now at our Nairobi campus in Nairobi West around Nyayo Stadium on 0700 129 536. Our Juja campus next to Jomo Kenyatta University on 0700 000 760 and our Kisumu campus opposite Swan Center, Oginga Odinga Street on 0703 201 229. Trisent School of Medical Health, Science and Technology, where careers come to life. Entrepreneurs around the country are creatively grinding.
I started with a borrowed phone.
A borrowed phone?
Yeah, that could last 2 hours with charge.
We just have to do quality work for them.
To make their mark in an unpredictable market.
It was now going on a sales venture, looking for stockists door to door.
On the grind, we bring you their stories so you can tell yours. Every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Men are known to be the pillars.
We're rising up together.
Say your point. You need an alpha male now to come and help you and your girl.
Ameongea zero.
And women, they are the cornerstone that hold the pillars.
Don't be entitled. A man is peaceful, a man knows how to talk to a lady.
This November, the Men's Conference brings a cocktail of diverse ladies to weigh in on various matters.
Something I'd love more to see is men being able to exist as themselves.
Tune in every Wednesday at 10 p.m.
Hello guys and welcome to Night In with Joy Irungu. Joy Irungu.
Heartbreak, pain, and tears have been a major part of Night In Season 1. We thank you for being with us on this journey And for this upcoming season, we will bring you more empowering stories that not everyone is talking about.
This is the only show where we keep it authentic. We share our lifetime experiences, and you know what? Tell every person that you can turn your pain into power.
Join Joy Irongo on Night In as we take the brave step of sharing.
The road to 2022 is becoming tougher.
Nyuma ya wheelbarrow kuna economic model.
And trickier with each passing day.
Niliwaambia washushe chini bei ya mafuta.
Political aspirants in a dilemma whether to change allegiance or not.
How has Raila and the handshake made Jubilee lose focus?
You've seen Raila Odinga flying military choppers.
Our people have never been called to Uhuru Park to unite. They have always united out of their own volition.
Reduce your madness.
Kenyans are suffering.
That'd be fair to conclude.
I don't want your station to be sued. That Jubilee government has never been able to sponsor any successful project.
Every Monday at 9:30 p.m., Pundits Night brings you inclusive and candid conversations with the pundits. We say disability is not inability.
Our impairment are not disability. Disability is the barriers put across by the society.
Beyond the Limit gives a voice to those abled differently.
People with special needs can undertake a job, particularly that is customer service focused, as good, if not better, than people that are 100% abled.
We
Welcome back to TV 47 News Tonight. Thank you for staying with us. Now, the World Health Organization has stated that travel restrictions imposed by some countries will not stop the spread of the new Omicron variant, but has urged countries to focus on vaccination and other measures like wearing of masks and social distancing. Elizabeth Atieno reports.
The World Health Organization has discouraged countries from imposing blanket travel bans, saying such bans will not prevent the spread of Omicron variant, as some counties in the United Nations and Africa rush to impose the curbs.
There's also some inherent internal contradictions in these bans. We've seen these before, where you ban flights except for your own citizens. I mean, epidemiologically, I find it hard to understand the principle there. Is it that some passport holders will have the virus and some won't?
We are deeply disappointed.
South Africa still echoes its disappointment on the travel restrictions that has greatly affected its economy. South Africa has so far recorded 3 million cases and 89,000 deaths from COVID. However, South Africa's National Institute of Communicable Diseases, NICD, maintains that there is no justified scientific evidence that the Omicron variant is responsible for the latest rise in COVID cases.
And some of those admissions might have started before we think the emergence of Omicron, and we also seen that there was an increase in influenza cases in South Africa just in the last month or so, and so we need to really be careful to look at the other respiratory infections and other respiratory diseases.
What will outcompete Delta? I think that's always been the question. What will outcompete Delta in terms of transmissibility?
The World Health Organization has reiterated the need for vaccination, urging countries to ensure that vaccination centers are set up in all entry points.
High vaccination rate in the population works. We know that. The emergency rooms and the centers are full of people with who are, to the most percentage, the unvaccinated. The most severe diseases and the most severe outcome until death is most often in those unvaccinated, and that's of high importance.
It's absolutely critical that when it's your turn, you get vaccinated, because the chances of you developing severe disease and dying with vaccinated is significantly less than if you're not vaccinated. Vaccines are saving lives, and we need vaccines to get into the arms of all of those who are at risk in every single country.
The health experts have further urged countries to strengthen surveillance and allow all measures that were earlier provided by the WHO to curb the spread of COVID-19.
We encourage countries to enhance their surveillance, to enhance their sequencing, and to keep reporting that information, to share those sequences on platforms like GISAID, and a special thanks to GISAID as well, so that analysis can be done and we can better understand its emergence.
It's not a time for governments to pass the full responsibility of containing this epidemic and pandemic back onto the shoulders of individual citizens. This is a time for governments to take action in solidarity with their communities.
Whilst the threat of infection remains high, we remain vulnerable, which is why we must continue to be vigilant in responding to any new infection outbreaks which can undermine the recovery both globally and regionally.
WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus has recommended the world in fighting the pandemic.
Of this decision is cause for celebration and cause for hope that we all need. Of course, there is still a long road ahead. There are still differences of opinion about what a new accord could or should contain. But you have proven to each other and the world that differences can be overcome and common ground can be found.
Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Moving on, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has defended its decision to award the ballot paper printing tender to Greek firm Lycos. The electoral body says the decision was arrived through competitive prices. And as Elizabeth Mutuku now reports, the commission has insisted that it will not participate in the multi-sectoral committee on election preparedness.
While appearing before the Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights Committee of the Senate, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Committee Chair Wafula Chebukati said they will not take instructions from any quarters about election preparedness, although the Commission is willing to partner with other key players for a successful general election.
Now, the issue of the multi-agency task force, which came up, and we were invited then the first meeting to shed light on election preparedness, which we did. But then we as a commission then received the terms of reference of this task force, as well as the forum on then the way forward. And we realized the TORs which were given to us clearly take away the mandate of the commission insofar as Article 884 is concerned, where now we have to report to our team on what we do, what the work Kenyans gave us to do. And that's why we feel we, as a commission, we then, by reporting to another agency, we would have to compromise the independence of the commission.
The committee defending its decision to pull out of the National Multi-Sectoral Consultative Forum on Election Preparedness and Technical Working Committee, IEBC, earlier this week, pulled out of the committee in a decision that Chebukati says was arrived at after consultations.
But that's not to say that we are working with all these agencies through already existing mechanisms, which I've outlined in our submission to the Senate. And so this will continue. There's no reason why they should not continue. They are grounded in law. We have the ESAP, we have the Judicial Committee on Elections, we have arrangements with the Director of Public Prosecution. There's already a desk at the ODPP for election offenses. We have had meetings with the DCI, and there's already a team deployed for purposes of elections. So all these arrangements will go on, and it doesn't have to be managed by a multi-agency task force, which is, we say, is not grounded in law. And as a commission, we are not going to report on our mandate to another agency, but we are ready and we are working with other agencies to ensure success of the 2022 general elections.
IEBC has also defended its decision to award Inform Lycos tender to print ballot papers. The electoral body said the decision was well informed.
Which has not been done so far. the cost of the ballot paper will be roughly be between 2022 and 23. That is with the tax, but before tax is about 18 shillings per ballot paper, and this is a competitive price compared to the other vendors who are the other printers who had submitted their bids. So the most responsive firm, and that is Infotainment, has given all the indications that they are a company that can be able to deliver for the purpose of the general election in accordance with the specifications that we sent.
Despite the late budgetary allocation to the Commission, Chebukati assured Kenyans that the Commission will commence the procurement process of general election materials, equipment and services ahead of next general elections.
In our voters' roll. We also hope that the second opportunity or the second phase will enable those who had second thoughts about registering as voters will have decided, and we will be able to convince them, particularly with the support from all stakeholders, that they should register as voters.
Elizabeth Machuko, TV47.
Now, nominated Senator Isaac Mwaura has been reinstated to the Senate after a lengthy battle between him and the Jubilee Party that saw him lose his senatorial seat in May of this year. The move comes amidst an oust from Jubilee Party membership list that was halted by the Registrar of Political Parties, and a High Court decision that today saw Senate Speaker Kenneth Lusaka readmit him back to the Senate. Addressing the press outside Parliament, Mwaura has welcomed his reinstatement, reiterating on the importance of freedom of expression among leaders.
This battle, you have strengthened me. I have come out stronger, better, and ready to serve the nation of Kenya. Indeed, this is a clear vindication that those who fight for justice and equity at some point will come face to face with the forces of oppression. But it is worthy to do that fight. Kenya and human advancement can never be achieved if we all cave in to intimidation, fear, blackmail, and even character assassination. For the last 7 months that I have not been in the House, I have gallantly fought in the corridors of justice. And I want to really thank the judiciary for being very independent and becoming the last bastion to defend the downtrodden. Let us not be confused when we have divergent opinion. We have freedom of association and we have freedom of choice when it comes to who we speak to and what we do.
Elsewhere, camel owners from Marsabit County have suffered losses after 315 camels were swept away by floods from River Ewasonyiro after the river broke its bank in Biliko, Marsabit County. Speaking after the incident, Adan Galgalo, one of the camel owners, said they were heading to Isiolo before they stopped at a water point at Biliko before the river broke its bank and swept away their herd of camels.
Ngamia imebebwa na maji, zimepotea. Ngamia 315, hawezi kusikana ngamia 2-3-5 kando hata ya laga.
Ngamia ikiwa ilikuwa inakuja upande Isiolo ikaingia laga kukunya maji. Wakati imekuja kukunya maji, laga yote kukunya maji kidogo, maji hata hatujui imetoka upande gani. Hii river ya Wasonyiro ilikuja ikabeba yote.
Let's get to some business news. And the Eldoret International Airport, in partnership with Ethiopian airline Skyrosa Limited and Plygon Logistics, have successfully facilitated a pilot cargo flight that saw the export of 5 tons of cut flowers from Kitale to Brussels in Belgium. Speaking during the official launching of the export, Eldoret Airport Regional Manager said that it was the first export of flowers from Eldoret to Europe.
Today is a milestone at Eldoret International Airport, where the airport, together with Ethiopian Airline, Polygon Logistics, Skyrosa, and Panacol growers have partnered together to see the first export of flowers from Eldoret all the way to Europe. Because today we are lifting about 5,000 kilograms of flowers, cut flowers, which is going directly to the...
Elsewhere, the government has reverted the running of Ekeza Sacco back to members 1 year after 1 year of receivership by the government, after the Commissioner of Cooperatives ordered the election of a new management committee. Speaking during the meeting convened by the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives, Hesbon Kiura, an Assistant Commissioner for Cooperative Development, said the government is committed to support the SACCO to ensure it gets back on its feet.
Loan collections and FICA and approval offices. In view of this, the challenges and progress. Current management is treated an audit.
If this SACCO, where it was in the future, it will be a model. Actually, as he says, the asset recovery team, we were with them, they have agreed, and we have only left to forward those letters. They have really done well to safeguard the assets, and we believe once the restrictions are removed, the land will be perfected. Those who have received the cash from 1 shilling to 23,000, they have received. The rest will continue receiving. And those who want to remain, continue with your vision, because we are not winding up the SACCO.
Well, from business news, let's get to the world of sports. Dennis Otieno is with us. Dennis, good evening. What do you have for us tonight?
Well, good evening to you, to Abubakar Abdullahi. Now, tonight, we'll be telling you exactly why Nick Mwendwa opted to step aside from his role in FKF. We shall also be telling you about plans to ensure that the construction of the Dandora Stadium are completed. Now, this and more coming up. And it's time for the sports news with me, Dennis Otieno. Now let's start off with matters football. And the state of uncertainty that has rocked football in the country continues to grapple football enthusiasts. This after beleaguered FKF President Nick Mwendwa Tuesday night stepped aside from his role as president of the federation and transferred the functions of FKF to his deputy Doris Petra barely hours after being released from an anti-corruption court on a 10 million shillings cash bail. Despite the appointment of Doris Petra at the helm of FKF, the tussle between the federation and the state over football affairs in the country continues to take center stage amid threats from world governing body FIFA to ban Kenya over the matter. These are the scenes that have rocked football affairs in the country in the past 3 weeks. The FKF president Nick Mwendwa being arrested, presented in court and released on bail over corruption allegations that have marred the federation. The arrests have seen FKF President Nick Mwendwa step down from his role as president of the federation as he appointed his deputy Doris Petra to take mandate of the office while he awaits to know his fate in an alleged corruption case that is set to be mentioned at the High Court on December 20th this year.
There's a stay by the person who are parties, and you go and file an appeal.
Mwendwa, in a letter issued to FKF's National Executive Committee, cited the incessant arrests as the main reason for his decision to step down from his role, adding that his family as well as his businesses have been greatly affected by the detentions. Mwendwa noted that his decision was arrived at with the federation's best interest at heart, emphasizing that he is personally being targeted in the allegations. Mwendo's stepping aside was in accordance to Article 42, subsection 8 of the FKF Constitution, which reads, "If the President is absent or unavailable, the Vice President shall act. Should the Vice President be unavailable, the members of the National Executive Committee shall appoint one of the members to act." Mwendo's letter transferring FKF's functions to Doris Petra, however, raises legal issues over the football authority in the country following the appointment of an FKF caretaker committee by Sports Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed. The stalemate between the two football governing bodies in the country continues amid threats from World Football Governing Body FIFA to ban Kenya over what it terms as government interference in football. Mwendo's misfortunes began when Sports Registrar Rose Wasike conducted an audit in the Federation's account and issued recommendations to the Sports Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed, with the state charging Mwendo with 4 counts of fraudulent acquisition of public property. The tussle between football leadership in the country between FKF and FKF Caretaker Committee is now expected to steer Kenya into a ban from FIFA, while the embattled Nick Mwendwa awaits to know his fate on December 20th this year, when his case shall be mentioned in court. Dennis Otieno, TV47. Now, the construction of the Dandora Stadium is expected to be completed by August next year. This, according to Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja, who toured the stadium earlier today. Speaking during an inspection of the stadium, Sakaja, who is the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee in the Senate, emphasized that the construction of the stadium that was allocated approximately 350 million shillings will progress and be completed as fast as possible. Sakaja added that the stalling of the construction of the stadium denied Dandora youth the chance to use the stadium, which was being utilized before the renovations began. The Dandora Stadium was supposed to be commissioned last year, however its construction was halted due to poor workmanship by the contractor. The Athletics Kenya Consultative Forum that seeks to identify challenges affecting athletes in the country culminated Wednesday afternoon in Nandi County. Led by Olympic marathon champion Peres Jepchirchir, the athletes proposed the introduction of more domestic athletics competitions that will in turn help in identifying, developing and nurturing talents in the grassroots. Speaking during the forum, Nandi County Governor Stephen Sang echoed Jepchirchir's sentiments.